So, welcome everybody to another edition of Balm to the Soul. I'm your host, Natasha Joy Price, and I'm an energy healer and an author and a podcaster. And today we've got a lovely new guest, and her name is Dr. Maria Inglesby. So, welcome, Maria. Thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Well, thank you for inviting me to the UK.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Nice and warm at the moment.
Yeah.
So, Maria is an author, a transformational guide, and quantum field intuitive, conducting her energy resonance sessions from embodied I am presence. She bridges scientific rigor with an expansive understanding of consciousness, and she draws on studies of energy healing and years of deep inner alchemy. She enjoys serving as a spiritual advisor to individuals committed to conscious growth, guiding them beyond the intellectual understanding into embodied self mastery. Amazing. When I was it does. Sounds amazing. When I was having a look at your bio and info, one thing you said is that you love learning, and
Yes.
that really resonated with me because I'm a bit of a sponge, and I have been for years. It's
Yes.
like I've got to understand that. I've got to understand that. Is that the
Right.
same for you?
Yeah. I'm just deeply curious about, initially, I would have said the universe ticks. When I got into the sciences, I was like, I just want to know how the universe ticks. Well, today, now that
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the quantum field, basically, or doing energy work, the universe doesn't tick. There's no ticking. Humans do the clock ticking.
Yes.
The
Yes.
quantum field has no ticking. There's no distance either. So,
No. And no
so
time. And no time as
no,
we know it. No
correct.
linear
Yeah. So the
time. Yeah.
idea of time as linear just doesn't exist.
No.
And coming out of that high powered science career, it felt like we're too driven by the idea that time is linear, and we run and we rush, and we got to accomplish this, and we got to do this, and we got to, like, there's an end to this. And once I got into my soul turf, I got to experience the vastness of it, the spaciousness of
Mm.
it, and I'm hanging in there. It's like there's no clock and there's no
No.
ticking,
No.
there's no end either. This space is boundless, and I
Yeah.
I I came to feel so at home in that space that
Yes.
I seek it a lot. So
Yeah.
when the world comes in too close, I'm like, nope, 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 nope. I'm gonna take some space. I'm gonna hang out in that spaciousness, and because that is where I recharge my being,
Yeah.
to include my physical body. So the recharging occurs from the inside out because I get to hang in that soul boundless vast space of love, basically. So,
Yeah.
and
Lovely. I
yeah,
think
so I get
time,
to help people find that, or I get to help people rediscover that inside of themselves.
yes, lovely. I think time as well is a real pressure on people. It weighs
Yes,
heavy. Our manufactured time weighs
yes,
heavy on us all the time.
right,
And you're
right.
right. I love that term you use, soul turf, as well. That's lovely. I call it the soul continuum, but I like soul turf.
Yeah. Well, I'm
But
a,
yeah,
I'm a, I'm an avid gardener, so everything is turf and dirt and fertile soil, and you know what I mean, and flowers and blooming and blossoming.
oh, I like that. I like that. But you're right. You can just hang out, and it's timeless and it's relaxed, and you
Yes.
can just find a level of peace, can't you?
Yes. Yeah. And the more I cultivated that over the years, that piece is always with me. I get sometimes get into a conversation with a new client, and they're looking at, I just want to get to a place of peace or a place of balance. And they're always looking at it, when I go on vacation, then I have peace. Or if I go to this place on earth, a geographical location, then I have peace. Or right. Or if
Mm,
this person
mm,
wasn't in my life, then I would have peace.
yes.
And I point out, it's like, that peace, that inexplicable peace already sits deep inside of us. We each have that already inside of us. We have just forgotten how to tap into that.
Mm,
So to me, it's a matter of learn how to tap into your soul self, because the peace already sits deep inside of you. It's an inherent trait that we all have.
mm,
But because we're so married to the clock, we forget.
mm. Yes. And I have to say, holidays I never found peaceful. Because
Well,
before holidays at work, you sort of had to do so much more to get ready.
you get
Then
it
you'd
done.
come back to so much more. Then you had the
Yeah, it's
pressure
it's
of
the catch-up
packing
syndrome,
and
right?
yeah, yeah, it was awful,
Yeah.
awful. So when you talk about running your sessions from the embodied I am presence, is that what you're talking about? Is that you being connected to your soul energy, if you like, or to
That is
universe?
one way of putting it, but I
Mm,
thought, let me make it more specific because I do get that question a bit. And since we're in the United Kingdom, let's talk about the kingdom.
okay.
So, what it is we perceive ourselves because we're so married to the idea that I'm an individual form, a one solid physical form.
Mm,
We perceive everything that's outside of us as separate. Now, as a scientist, of course, you get introduced to the atomic fabric, I call it. So I know intellectually, for starters, I knew I'm all atoms. So I'm a tribe or a nation of atoms. Well, when you get deeper into science, you realize that an atom isn't really. Sometimes I tell people that are really stuck on this. I'm a physical form. Start looking at polka dots. Just imagine you're a collection of polka dots. So imagine every atom is a polka dot. And it has a lot of space in between these polka dots, and it's all energy vibrations and it's light, and it's picture it as a light field.
mm,
And then to take it a step further, it's like, okay, so this whole thing is in motion, it's not static. And it's basically if you took an atom or you took a nucleus and you just pictured it as a light field or you pictured it as little spinning light vortices, energy vortices, you're literally a combination or a tribe or a nation of assembly of all these gajillion little spinning energy vortices, kind of. That's hard to picture for a person that's very married to this idea of us as a form. But what then happens is that once we let go of the idea of form, we can come into oneness consciousness. And the idea of the divine feminine, which is or and divine masculine and divine feminine, we look at it as opposing forces.
mm-hmm,
And in this lifetime specifically, we have the opportunity to marry those two into divine union. And instead of looking at it again as the female body and the male body, let's look at it as traits. Let's just say the divine feminine, mater, mother, matter, and the divine masculine as spirit, as the blueprint that sits inside everything. So if you can picture an apple tree, let's say, so there's an apple tree, you know it's an apple tree. And what makes the apple tree the apple tree? Well, inside the seed of the apple is the blueprint. Call it the spirit. So the apple tree is spirited. It knows, that seed knows it's going to be an apple tree, right? So its
mm-hmm,
blueprint, its spirit sits inside the seed. And that's the communication template that then unfolds into the apple tree. Well, a human isn't a whole lot different. We have inside of us a blueprint, a divine, an original divine blueprint that when it comes together, here is the physical form. Whether that's masculine or feminine or male or female body doesn't really matter. The blueprint is the same. So if we could look at the divine union as the blueprint is the spirit that creates the human body, whatever the appearance or expression or size or skin color doesn't matter, and our expression, our physical materialized matter expression as the divine feminine. So it's the giving and the receiving and the spirit and the matter and all of that. When we take these opposing forces and we can bring them together into one, merging, fusing, think of it as a fusion, a lifetime that we get to fuse opposing ideas into one, black and white into one. There are no enemies, right? That's a perception. There is
mm,
nothing outside of us. That's a perception. So when we step into oneness, that is actually the kingdom, and that kingdom also sits inside of us. So people think, oh, the kingdom comes when I transition out of my body. No, the kingdom and the key to it already reside inside of us. They are part and parcel of our divine blueprint. And so when we come into that oneness, that is what I call the I am presence. And I
Hmm.
was guided through the journey by Ascended Master Saint Germain and an older or a more distant relative of that, if you will, is Master Merlin. So I got to work with both of these entities for years and years and years. And it's like when you alchemize the opposing forces into one and you step into oneness consciousness, now you're sitting in the middle of the kingdom. And I call it the magic of the quantum field. It's one and the same
Mm.
thing.
Yeah.
So when you sit in that quantum field, when I do an intense session, like an energy resonance session, I call it, we do a discovery session. I want to find out where the client is sitting, what their concerns are. Typically is a stress related issue, an illness, a relationship is falling apart, something in their life that's coming undone. There's a reason for that, of course. And then at night or when they're sleeping, or I'll ask them to get into a deep meditative state because they're not always here, right? I do distance work.
Mm.
Then I can scan, and it's almost like I feel like I sit underneath them. I feel like I sit underneath, and I can scan their entire energy field. And what I get to see is the next barrier that sits between their persona and their I am presence. What is the next barrier that is able to be removed? And I can see
Okay.
that with great, great, great clarity. It's like that is the next thing you are able to relinquish. You can't get to the thing beneath that and beneath that and beneath that until that next thing is removed. So
Hmm.
we remove by layers. But it's been an amazing gift the minute I landed in oneness. Well, it was years of journey. I could do this. And so I would sit with a person. I'm like, oh, I see that layer. What do you mean you see that layer? Well, it's right there. And so, but a person really has to be willing because they have to walk the walk. I do not do the healing. I always tell people I'm a facilitator, I'm not a healer.
Right.
So I go in, I can see what the barrier is. But because I tell them, you are a being of free will, that is a divine gift, that might be our greatest divine gift. You get to decide, do I want to let go of that barrier? Or do I need to hang on and clutch the familiar?
Hmm.
When you clutch the familiar, that is a choice, but that is where illness comes from.
Yeah.
If you're willing to be opening yourself up to letting go of that barrier, it's going to unravel a few things. It might come with more stuff in your life unraveling. It might come with a few physical symptoms. I mean, there's different symptoms we've witnessed over the years. But their soul expands, and I can feel that too. So when that barrier is off, they feel lighter. That's really what
Hmm.
enlightenment is. You're taking the barriers off and
Mm.
you're letting more of the light that your I am is, or your eternal spark. So you could call it I am presence, eternal spark, personal sun, but it is.
Oh, I've lost you. Hold on. I can't hear you. Suddenly, I've lost your sound.
Oh,
Now I can hear you again.
okay.
I don't know what happened there. There was
So
a
the
little blip.
Yeah. So the I am presence is our internal sun, right? And so it
Mm.
shines 24/7. And so as we let go of barriers, more of that light that we already are shines through us. And then we
Lovely.
feel lighter, we feel
Mm.
unburdened.
Yeah.
It's a sensation of, gosh, this is off of me. I'm unburdened.
Yeah.
And so that's really what the divine union is. It's this coming together of opposing forces so that we can let go of the idea that we're separate from others. We really are all one. The entire human nation is one nation,
Mm.
and there's nothing separate. And that I am presence is our human oversoul. And
Yes.
once I got into that, once that was embodied, then I can see the soul fabric for what it is. And with that, I can see the barrier that sits in the way. And it's
Mm.
always the next barrier. It's always the next one. This is what your body is ready to let go of. But oftentimes the mind isn't clear, that the waking consciousness isn't aware what is happening.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always tell people, you have to be in on your spiritual journey. You have to be in on your healing journey, because your body knows how to heal itself, but you need to be willing to let go of these barriers
Very
and walls. And it's an uncaging of the heart as much as it is a broadening of the mind.
Mm. Wow. So, I mean, I've never heard somebody talk about it like that. So, is this something that you sort of developed through your own exploration and, or what, nobody taught you how to do this? This is just something that
No, yeah.
evolved and.
So, years and years and years ago, I was trained in pranic healing, which is an Eastern
Mm,
philosophy based energy healing modality. But then it was very Eastern philosophy based. And I thought, yeah, that's good. But it wasn't, to me, it didn't feel universal enough. It's like I know energy is universal. And somehow I felt like it's framed in this Eastern philosophy, which I love Eastern philosophy because it's the idea of be not attached to form.
yeah.
Nothing or no thing doesn't mean, oh, you have to now dump into poverty or whatever. That's not what this means. It doesn't mean have everything or have nothing. That's not at all. That's a horrible misinterpretation. It just means be not attached to the idea of form. Let go of that.
Mm,
And so that idea of letting go of the attachment to form is Eastern philosophy. So it served me really well in that way. But then shortly after, I came onto the energy modality called quantum touch.
yeah.
And that is a more of a scientific based modality. So that was more along with my scientific training. And I thought, perfect, let's run with that. And then eventually I came into to meet Reiki masters. So I've been in all sorts of energy healing, like a
Mm,
Reiki attuned, and then I got into Akashic record reading, for example. But all along, I opened up to this idea that I'm not the only one in the cosmos. We have neighbors, and I learned of the ascended masters. And I was at Mount Shasta one time, and I literally, I always say I got plucked off the mountain by Saint Germain, but that's not exactly how it went. But by just a string of synchronicities, I came into the knowing of Saint Germain, and um,
and
and
he's
he's
associated with the violet flame, isn't he?
yes, he's the one
Saint
with the
Jimmy.
violet
Yeah,
flame, exactly. So
yeah.
he's the Shohan of the seventh ray, the violet flame, but he's been with me for over 10 years. And
Wow.
so he comes in to teach. And then eventually I learned, and I can perceive him clearly. And he eventually said, we're here to, as a forerunner into the new civilization. So literally his job as an etheric being, and he's available to all beings, not just me, right?
Yeah.
So he always says, I am here, I am there, I am everywhere, which is what the quantum field is. I am here, I am there, I am everywhere, right? The
Hmm.
spaciousness we sit in is that. And so then he would say, I am here for all beings who wish to call upon me at any time that they so wish. And when they open up to the notion that, yes, I too can perceive the ascendant masters, then they will. But
Yeah.
we sit here and we think, as long as we think I'm a separate form that couldn't be happening to me, then it won't. So
Yes.
we create those experiences for ourselves. So
Yes.
I learned a great deal channeling the masters over the years. I learned a great deal from Master Merlin. I learned a great deal from Master Saint Germain. And so in that sense, it is a sort of a self-developed, I'm in this self-developed state of being that I wouldn't trade for anything.
No, it sounds
Um,
amazing.
but then he also said, now that you're here in the I am presence, now it is yours to share with the people. Now it is yours to activate their remembrance. So when I step into somebody's energy field, I bring my energy with me, of course, and it activates the quantum field. It activates their soul memories, is their soul remembrance. And so the book is the same way. I had a very, very in tune shamanic elder get into my book. And he said, well, I could just feel the energy cascading in my body. I could feel the energy cascading in my body. He says, it's
Wow.
not a reading book. This is an activator. Yes, yes, it is an activator. And
Excellent. And this is soaring beyond transcending the known into unbelievable success.
yes, correct. And
Yes.
it is available on Amazon as either
Yeah.
ebook, softbound, or hardbound. Yes, yes, yes. So he immediately caught that. He says, that's an activation. It helps activate people into their soul remembrances. I said, I perceive that to be my job here on earth, right?
Mm.
To come in and
Yeah.
activate these soul remembrances so that people get to do a 180 out of this I'm a single form
Yeah.
back into the I am presence, because we're returning home basically to the light that we are,
Yes.
except Saint Germain with a mind of your own.
Yes. Yes. I think you're right, though. I think all energy healing is actually a remembrance, isn't it?
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
it's
you're
us
yes.
remembering the skills and the abilities that we do have
Yes.
outside of this human 3D form that we all think
Exactly.
is reality and isn't.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, your book, you also have a guided journal book for self-exploration, don't you, as a PDF?
Yes.
And you have other gifts on your website as well, don't you, that people could have a look at and
Yeah. So, in order to help, because sometimes I, since I am from the intellectual side with a PhD, I get a lot of clients that they're similar, right? Like they're a doctor or a lawyer or
sure.
this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So people, I just say people that live in the head a lot, and they have to, that their job requires them to. Like as a
Mm,
scientist, you use your
mm,
head a lot. As an attorney, you know this, you have to use your
yeah.
head a lot. What happens though, because we get so married to our job or our career, I find that what happens is we cultivate this. Actually, it's a disconnect between the head and the body.
Mm,
And in one healing session where somebody was particularly like serious anxiety issues, because constantly here, right, million miles a minute, million miles
mm,
a minute, I come from there. I got into TM meditation because of that trouble.
yeah.
And so then when I did the healing session, all I could see was the head spinning, like the, and it's like it's disconnected from the body. This isn't good. This isn't good. This isn't good. There's and what you see right away is that there's illness coming of some sort. And so when we sat in the follow-up session, because I have to explain, this is what I saw, this is what's happening in your body. There's a disconnect between your head and your body. It will create illness. And so I always
Mm,
tell people, I don't want to scream warning, warning, warning. I just want to say we have got to slow down.
yeah.
That doesn't mean you have to quit your job, but what that does mean, so one attorney friend of mine, I recommended, is there any earthly way that you would consider, instead of spending an hour in the morning, she likes her gym time. I understand that. But would you consider dropping into meditation or taking a walk outside or getting into nature or do something that is more fluid? Maybe go for a swim, get into water, get your body into water, because it connects us to the body, it connects us to the divine feminine, and it connects us to the universal flow that is inherent to the cosmos.
Mm,
So then we reconnect to that cosmic flow of, we're integral to that. We're part and parcel of that. And when we live too much in the head, we disconnect from that. But it is a healing flow. It helps our body heal itself. It helps our nervous system calm down, right?
mm.
So I see these different symptoms in very different ways depending on who the person is. Each soul is so unparalleled and so unique. It's just amazing.
I think, though, I do think that the burnout, which is basically what, when the head disconnects, is
Right.
getting so much more common because we do
Yes.
live life. We live life far too fast and we never
Yes.
stop to
Hmm.
just go within and, I mean,
Correct.
I've meditated for 20 years and I
Yeah.
think that has kept me sane in the corporate
Yeah, yes.
world.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got into so many books. I was studying. I was like, oh, we're on the spiritual journey. And I was just ingesting books at a pace, not
Mm.
healthy, not good. No, no, no. I was filling up my head with lots of ideas, right? But I wasn't having my body in on the journey and I didn't understand
Yeah.
at the time. So when I got the first panic attacks, I'm like, this does not feel good. This is not good. Got to the clinic and the doctor says, well, we can prescribe medication. And I looked at I call it the MSDS sheet, right? The material safety data sheet. And I'm a chemist. So I looked at that. I'm like, no, 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 I'm not taking this stuff. Not
No,
happening. I'm not
no.
putting this in my body. And then I went home, and to nobody in particular, with gusto though, there has got to be another solution that is more conducive to my well-being. There has to be a solution that is gentler on my body.
Mm.
That taking a pill that has suicide side effects can't be it, right? Like that can't be it.
No.
And via a series of books, Peter Russell is one of those. It was Science to God, I think is what it's called.
Mm.
He was a British gentleman. He spoke of transcendental meditation and how that revolutionized his life.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, well, if that kind of meditation revolutionizes the life of that scientist,
Then
then it
it's
could
good for
probably
me.
help me too.
Yeah,
Right? Like if he can
absolutely.
do it, I can do it kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went online and I looked for a local coach, and she was a lifesaver.
Mm.
And the reason the coach turned out to be, it was just an intuitive, I think I should have a coach. I don't know where
Mm.
that came from. It was this idea that coach might be good.
Mm.
So I did that. Now she is a city, an Eastern trained city. And what was beautiful about this was she said, if you ever have weird experience per your logic, call me. Do not dismiss them too quickly. And so she's the one that opened me up to this idea. Oh, there are other experiences to be had aside
Mm.
from what this material world is, material focus. And I
Mm.
actually had that open up on me within the first, I want to say 6 weeks or so. I had the first lucid experiences, and I'm like, oh, I'm someplace totally different. Like, where's this? What happened to me? Right. So as a
Yeah.
scientist, you would question your sanity. But then I would pick up the phone and I said, Aban, help me out here.
What's going on?
What is going on? And then
Yeah.
we would sit down and we would have a conversation.
Mm.
And so I have that a lot with my clients today. We just get into a conversation about the experiences they have, because now I have a bigger frame to these things.
Yes.
And as an Akashic record reader, especially, this is why I went into that study. It's like, okay, so there's a parallel life coming in on you. That's a good thing, because it's influencing your current life in some way. Because at the end of the day, it's all one existence.
Yeah.
The other life that you experience as past, in that quantum field, there is no past. So that memory is right here, and it is activated for a reason, and it's helping you let go of some barrier that no longer serves you. Now, your small persona mind might not be aware of this, but your soul is guiding you. Soul brings these things forward when you're
Mm-hmm.
ready.
Mm.
And so once I understood the principle of this, I went seeking that kind of thing. So I would sit in meditation and say, okay, let that unfold, which is for the greatest benefit of me in this moment. What is the thing of greatest benefit?
Mm.
And then one time spirit comes in and says, well, why don't you meditate on the word love? Or why don't you meditate? So they would give me a phrase and I would perceive it with great clarity. And that opened up my whole journey even further, because I was sitting there, meditate on the term fear. What does that bring up? Well, it contracted my heart space and it didn't feel very
Mm.
good.
Mm.
It's like, so love is the opposite of fear.
Yeah.
It's not love and hate, it's love and fear. Hate is a symptom that arises from fear, and fear feeds upon itself.
Mm.
But once I got the feeling tone of that, it's like, and it feeds up on itself. It feeds up on itself. It's kind of a sort of a energy sucking parasitic kind of a thing,
Yeah. And I
right?
think if you're in fear, you can't heal. That
No, you
that
cannot.
you've got
You
to get rid of
absolutely
the
cannot.
fear. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you cannot create prosperity either. So people are
No.
like, oh, yeah, people need handouts and handouts and handouts. It's like, no, people have to be taught that they don't have to live in fear.
Mm.
So if we could,
Exactly.
on a planetary level, eliminate
Remove
fear,
that. Yeah.
remove that, we can create prosperity for all. And that is what, when I speak of the new earth is like that. It is born of unconditional love, where everyone gets to thrive. And the unconditional love dissolves any and all fears. That is the
Mm.
antidote to fear.
Mm. And where does trust? Because we have to have trust, don't we? We have to
Yes.
trust spirit. We have to know that we're okay.
Yes. So that was the other thing with meeting Saint Germain, let's say.
Mm,
And he doesn't come as a physical form. People say, "Oh yeah, the Redeemer comes and it's going to be a physical persona." No, it's not. It's a etheric entity. They're of a higher vibrational nature, and so our physical eyes may or may not be able to perceive them. Right? There's a few people on the planet that can perceive with their physical eyes,
mm.
but I perceive their presence, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to explain.
No, I know. You can feel a difference. You feel them step
Yes.
in somehow, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 So I feel a presence stepping into my field. And then in the beginning, I had to ask who they are. I always said, always let that step into my field, which is of loving nature and benevolent to me.
Mm,
And then I asked him, would you please introduce yourself the same way that I would ask you to introduce yourself? I want to know who am I dealing with here, right?
mm.
And so that is how I met Saint Germain. And what he did, so that I get to learn about him, he asked, okay, so there are these green handbooks. He would say, green handbooks, green handbooks. Well, they're books published in the 1920s or so. So I have two or three of them. And so he would guide me and he would say, okay, pick up volume, whatever, three. And then I don't have to read the whole thing. He would just have me flip the pages and put my finger in. And then he needed me to read just that piece. And I do
Wow.
that a lot. I have a lot of books on the shelf and I haven't read them all front to back
No.
because I would sit in meditation and I see the picture of the book. Oh, it's on that shelf. And then I pick it up and they say, okay, I said, guide me to the thing you need me to understand in this moment. I put the thumb on the pages and then I put my finger in it. And there's the paragraph that I need in this moment. And that is how,
Wow. That's an
that's how I do my,
amazing way. Yeah, for him to teach, isn't it? That's that he
it's a
it's like
great,
he's teaching you.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, they are teaching. They really, and they are, Master Merlin was the same way. I was interested in, people would come and say, gosh, you manifest with ease and grace. And I always would sit and say, well,
Your sound has gone again. I don't know why it keeps dropping out.
are we back?
Oh, there you are. You're back again. You were talking about Master Merlin.
Yeah, so Master Merlin was with me during my deep, deep inner alchemy journey because I had to get through some parallel lives that were not so pretty.
Yes.
So I asked one time, why is it that I so strongly feel that in the ideologies that we have on the planet, they should be equally represented by men and women? Not just, the Catholic Church is all guys, like top down,
Yeah.
all guys,
Yeah.
very patriarchal. That's okay. We had to have that on the planet. But I'm like, there should be women everywhere and they should be in equal positions. And I have this,
Mm.
it was just in my heart space. I had the knowing that each physical body, regardless of what the body type is, we're equally bestowed. I was like,
Yeah.
we're equally bestowed. Why is there this? And he says, well, he called it the spiritual upbringing. Merlin said, during your spiritual upbringing, you have been a druid.
Mm.
And he says the druids have priests and priestesses, and they were equally valued, their skill sets as priests and priestesses, because they're connected to the divine, to the quantum fields, to the kingdom. They walk in the kingdom, basically, which is that quantum field, that spaciousness of love.
Mm.
And they could perceive the universal wisdom. And so you have had that in your spiritual upbringing, and your cellular memory tells you that is normal.
Yeah.
And what you see now on the planet today has been created through a distorted lens.
Yes,
Not
that
not
makes
to be,
sense.
yeah, not to be judged. We're not here to judge this. He says it's just the distorted lens of separation consciousness created what you have on the planet today. But we're
And
here to transcend that now.
yes, I was going to say, are we moving away from that
Yes.
now? Yes.
Yes.
And we're
Yes.
in that process. And I think the fact that so many more people are interested in energy work
Yes.
and you know, that shows that we are moving
Yes.
in the right direction, doesn't it?
We are transcending all of that. And once you're in the oneness field, the other beautiful thing about it is you don't just perceive your one human nation. you perceive the planets as your neighbors. It's a very
Mm.
amazing state of being, because the other day I was sensing a presence behind me. It's a big light blue ball. It's very, very beautiful. I'm like, oh wow, look at this. That's so. I always sit there. It's like, that's so cool. That's a new presence, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
and so yeah. So come to find out, it's Neptune, planet Neptune, and I'm like, the transpersonal planet. You get beyond your idea of persona. You there comes a time on your journey where you will be miles beyond the idea of I am the persona. You're not.
yeah.
That's your physical extension of the I am, right? It's like a finger
Mm,
puppet here.
mm.
You forget you're the whole hand and the rest of the body.
Yeah, yeah.
And so but he was here to my left. And I said to him, okay, so I'd like to have a chat with you. Can you move in front of me? Now, this thing is very, very big. So I got to sit and have a chat. And then eventually it's like, okay, we could merge, but he felt so big. It's like, my body is so tiny. I just couldn't see how this would fit. It's like, this thing is so big. It's not going to fit. And so I said to him, so what do we do? What do we do? Like, that merging thing would be so much fun though. I just want to feel your essence. I
Yeah.
just want to swim in your essence. I want to feel what that feels like. And then this big hole opens up and I could just float right in. So my soul just floated right into Neptune. And I'm
Wow.
suspended in this gorgeous space. And I said, what would you call that? And he says, spaciousness of love.
Oh, lovely.
And I
Spaciousness of
said,
love.
I'm going to hang out here.
I was going to say, it would be a lovely place to hang out, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And
Spaciousness
it
of
was
love.
so cool. I'm sitting there, I was like, yes. And you could
Mm,
feel every cell in your body remember this.
mm,
And the healing is underway. The minute every cell in your body is in on this journey and it senses that kind of love and that kind of boundlessness and that kind of space, though that love, that's the cosmic forces, that's the energy that creates worlds.
yeah,
And when you can sense that with every little cell in your body, now you're closer to home.
yeah. And actually, if people were able to do and sense what you do, which I mean, they can do, but
Yes,
they
they
need
can.
to do the
Yes.
work and clear their energy field.
Yes.
It would make the way that they move through this 3D, very rigid reality that we all are
That
all
we
in.
think is one objective
Yeah,
reality, which is not.
yeah.
Yeah.
But their behavior would change completely. The way they made
Yes.
decisions would change completely. The way they treated people would change completely.
Yes, it
So
does,
I think,
because you approach everything
yeah,
from that expansiveness, from that universal knowing that
yeah,
love is really all there is. I always say love always wins. That is the law. LAW, love always wins.
yes, yes.
That
Love
to me,
that.
that's the universal law, right? You as a lawyer
Yeah.
might appreciate that.
Well, I have to say, in the lawyer environment, that doesn't resonate with me. But in other environment, yes, it does. Yes, yes,
Yes. And when we can merge these two, so when I step into places, I bring that wholeness with me.
yes,
It's not
exactly.
I leave the house and this stays here and I go there. So now I am presence, I am is whole, I am complete.
Yeah.
So the divine masculine and feminine have come together in this divine union. I am the matter and the spirit expressed through this physical expression that is one. It is
Mm,
one body. It's not my mind is here, my body is here. It is
no.
one unit.
Yeah.
We're one body, head and heart merge. They come together as one. Head divine masculine, heart divine feminine come together as one.
Mm.
And then promptly the song came on in the car by Paul Marriott, I think is his name. Love is blue, because the communication, the blueprint, the divine blueprint, the original divine blueprint, before it got distorted by the separation consciousness lens, is all love. And promptly
Yeah.
came the song, Love is Blue.
And don't you think these people, and like I've written a book, which you very kindly were reading, and he wrote
It's
that
it's
song.
it's a fun read, actually. I want to
Oh,
recommend
good,
that to people
good.
because what Natasha has done there is she's taken her experiences from her energy healing and written, well, I wouldn't call it, but written a fictional story so
Mm,
through storytelling, she brings into the living room and into our waking conscience the idea of what energy healing can do for us.
yeah,
And I love that
exactly.
approach. I really love that approach of storytelling and bringing home to you, oh, this is how energy healing works without making it,
A
call it a
lecture.
lawyer's list kind
Yeah,
of thing. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. But I feel that I channeled a lot of that, and like I'm
Yes,
sure the guy who wrote that Love Is Blue channeled that. I think
yes,
I think more and more people are beginning to channel information in this
yes,
way in order
yes.
to get the message out there, in order to get people thinking, to start
Wake
pushing
up.
them. Yeah, wake up,
Yeah,
to
wake
start
up,
them
wake up,
remembering.
wake up, wake up. You are
Yeah,
so much, so much, so much, so much more than your persona. If I could give
yes,
people, like I always imagine, I'll use my pen, that I have this magic wand. And when I meet a person and they're all in their head, I always wish I could do the little ding and the gold sparks
yes,
go in. And it's like, you are one most glorious,
yeah,
divine, cosmic being of a vastness
yes,
you can't even imagine. Your little head is just so little.
yes.
You
And
know
but
what
for
I mean?
most people, it is a process. It's an
Yes,
unwinding from that
yes,
being in the head. I know it has been for me, even with all the energy work that I've done.
yeah,
There is still
yeah,
been, since I've retired, there's been an internal unwinding,
yes.
and I think for some people, well, for most people, I think it's a process. I think
Well, it
very
was for
few
me.
people jump from one spot
It's
to,
taken me like
yeah,
um, 12 years or more. Like
yeah, yeah,
it's taken years, and I'm not done. That's the beautiful part. I'll sit outside, right, and then like the other day,
yeah,
Neptune shows up. So there's always more. The more open I am,
yeah,
the more beings and the more places and start. Like the other day, I was sitting here in meditation, and I felt an energy to my in front of me though to my left, and it was very different. And I thought, oh, I haven't felt you before. You're very different. And the color that came was brown. It's like, why brown? Brown is a weird. That was so weird. I was sitting
mm,
there. It's like, why does brown come into my head? Right? Like that's just, I don't know.
mm,
And so, but I felt that the energy was very different, and the being was a little at a distance. So it was almost like approaching gently. I always
mm,
ask, if you're a different energy to me, approach gently, and then we will chat. We will figure this out, right? Let me feel you. Let me know who you are. I'm curious. See,
mm,
I want to go about it with a wide open heart, and I want to be curious. And so I asked, so who are you? And well, it turned out it was a being from Arcturus, a fifth dimensional being from Arcturus. But that was at the
wow,
time a different energy to me.
mm,
Well, now we've gotten to be acquainted. And it's quite beautiful. And then one morning he shows up and he goes, okay, so it's time to watch E.T. And I'm like, the movie E.T.? Yep. So sometimes I get that, go watch the movie. And what was cool then, I watched the E.T. movie, and they built this technical rig and they put it in the field, and E.T. wants to call home with this technical
yes,
telephone.
yeah,
The same way we do, right? We build all these contraptions and satellite dishes and, phone home, and is there beings in the cosmos? And I thought, E.T. already gave it away, really, in the movie, because the way he eventually contacted his people was with
was
the
through
heart,
its heart, yeah,
right? When the boy said to him, "I love you," and the heart started beaming,
mm, mm,
that is how he contacted his home, right?
yeah,
And I sit here, I'm like, this is exactly how it works. We open up our heart, and that is how our light comes out. All of a sudden we start shining, and our light is like a beacon. It has a pulse to it. You can People that can feel
mm,
energy can feel
mm,
it. It
mm,
has a pulse to it. And the further open we are, the more of our neighbors could come close and say, are you open to connecting? Are you open to meeting me? Are you open to? So disclosure isn't really an outside thing. Disclosure happens on the inside,
yes,
right? So when we open up our hearts, we can meet beings from the Pleiades and from Arcturus, and we can meet Master Merlin and Master Saint Germain, and I've worked with Archangel Metatron, and people think that you can't do that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yes, you
Yes, yes,
can.
yes.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
here to
And
let you know. Yes, you can.
yes, and also nature as well. I met a lady on
Yes.
the podcast the other day, Freda Maletsky. You can listen to her episode, and she channels trees. And I have a
Oh,
love of trees, and I just
yes.
feel that we don't understand them at all, what they're
Yeah,
there to
there's
do.
a fun story there because I was still very hitched to form a few years ago, despite my atoms and my polka dots.
Yeah.
But we had a pine tree out front, a really tall, beautiful pine tree. And when we moved into this home, I told it, you're the tallest tree on the property. I'll make you the guardian of the property. And so I would sit there and chat with the tree all the time. But, I'm like, I'm chatting with the tree. Okay. So now my husband thinks that's a little weird, but I'd sit there and chat with the tree. And then when the arboretus came, because it was turning all brown, and we're like, we watered it, we did everything we could. And he says, no, no, it has a beetle infestation, so it has to come down. And I was
Mm.
in tears. I'm like, no, 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 no. My pine tree, we can't take down my pine. Like my whole heart went like, no, 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 no. And I was so sad. And then the day before the arboretus came, I was sitting here. I thought, you know what? We should have a celebration of life. I have no idea where that idea came from. So I went in the refrigerator, got myself a nice little apple cider, took a camping chair, went outside, sat next to the pine tree. I said to her, you know what? Well, I'm all sad that you're going. I think we should have a celebration of life. So I opened the cider and I sit there and I said, I want to toast to your life. And, you've been such a precious presence for us the whole time we've been here. And I'm still, sniveling.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden she says, no pining.
Oh.
And I sit there with my little scientific mind and I'm thinking, I heard that, but trees don't talk. Like I immediately nixed it right here. Trees don't talk. And I sat back and I hear it again. No pining. And
Yeah.
I sat there and I thought, I did hear that. And then I thought about this again and I thought, well, as we're approaching this field of oneness, the tree sits in that field. I shouldn't be so horribly surprised that we can perceive other beings besides the human form.
No.
But it was still sort of an idea I was dancing with.
Yes.
And I hear it for the third time, no pining. And then she said with a clarity I will never forget, be not attached to form.
Mm.
The message came from a pine tree.
Mm.
And that did it for me. I'm like, okay, well, trees do talk. That's oneness. They communicate. If they can communicate underneath our feet via mushrooms and signals, and I'm atomic, I'm electrical signals, I'm electromagnetic. I'm like, why wouldn't I? It's like my brain is just translating signals.
Mm.
So I sat with that and I'm like, okay, well, I got a message from Pine Tree. This is good. And I did write about that in one of my books. The second one is in revision right now. It's like, yeah, so I heard from the pine tree. So there you go. And yes, we can do that too. And so meanwhile, I've
Yes.
heard from the orange tree and right. Like,
Yeah.
so
I've met
yes,
so many people recently who channel
yeah,
trees, who talk, who hear
yes,
them,
yes,
who hear them with their physical ears, and
yeah.
so I think that is coming through as well, which is
I
amazing.
think so too. As
Yeah.
we can, because from an energy healing chakra perspective, we have our seven physical chakras. But as we open up, we're going to add five more. There's five fifth
Hmm.
dimensional chakras that are opening up. And we cannot open the soul star chakra fully, which is above our head, until we open the earth star
Star.
chakra
Yeah.
beneath our feet. And so that means we are going to be in communion with the earth.
Yes.
So I'm
Absolutely.
not one bit surprised that as the earth star chakra becomes active on people, we can perceive the beings and the animals and the dolphins and whales and trees. And, that to me would be
Mm.
normal. I would perceive that to be a normal progression in our evolution, really, truly.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Maria. It's been fascinating. I could speak to you all night. We could. It's amazing what the work you do, but so interesting. But I think I resonate with everything you say, and I think we are moving towards that understanding.
Yes,
It's
I
like
think
a
so.
sliding scale, isn't it? And we are moving to understanding more and more these about being a oneness.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the mass awakening is taking us there. I'm
Yes.
absolutely convinced that it's a cosmic shift and the earth is part of the cosmos. We're integral to the
Absolutely.
cosmos. So
Yeah.
I absolutely see that happening. To me, that
Yeah.
that isn't even a question. So, but
No.
yes, I see that. I absolutely feel that that is happening, and I'm constantly being guided. Yeah, you're here to bring clarity. That's why you're writing, and so it's like, okay, but I get that
Mm,
reassurance
mm.
from the ascended masters all the time. And so it's like, okay, so I keep going because
Yeah. And I
there's a
think
whole,
these sort
yeah,
of things and your
yes.
books and your writing is like your ripple. It's like a ripple of information going out there. That's how I always see it. And I
Well,
think
yeah,
that
with
that's
every
helping that
podcast.
shift, isn't it?
Yeah, and I always appreciate being invited. Like you're helping with this and you're helping disseminate that understanding, right? And so am I, and so is Frida.
Yeah.
And I get to podcast with her next Monday. She lives actually right down the
Oh,
street
lovely.
from me.
Oh, wow. Didn't
Yeah,
know you knew her. Yes.
I said, yeah, what time zone do you sit in? Yeah, California. I said, I sit in California. Where do you sit? Come to find out, she sits just a half hour down the street from me.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
but
her
that's
episode is out there. And
nice.
it was just so fascinating to talk to her about that. So
Yeah.
to hear
Yes.
you talk about that as well is amazing. So thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for supporting the podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Well, thank
It's
you
really
for
been a
inviting
pleasure.
me. I really
Oh no,
appreciate
I
having been.
loved it. I loved it. So if
Yeah.
you've listened to, if you've enjoyed listening to Maria and I talk about all things oneness, you can like and share. You can also subscribe to the podcast as well. And I will speak to you all soon.